teams, this is kind of the threshold where people say, can they make the playoffs? Can they not, based off probability? My voice is a little shot. I had my 10-year high school reunion last night, and I was blabbering my mouth a little too much. So sorry if my voice sounds a little shot, but make sure to join the YouTube if you want to make a comment and you want to talk this slate, or just watch on X or Twitter, whatever you call it. And we can go from there. If you want to talk, make sure to come through. We're going to talk a lot of different games today. We have our props out. I'll answer any questions. We'll talk some sides, some totals, what teams need to do the most to do. I mean, the Ravens, Cowboys, that game comes to mind. A bunch of other games, Eagles, Saints, the battle of the Eagles need to win these games without A.J. Brown. The Saints can afford to lose now, but we'll know if they're the real deal if they keep on trucking down the schedule. So let's get started. And before we dive into the picks, I will say thank you to Draftkings for sponsoring this. The new DFS Pick Six. Pick Six new customers play $5 on your first picks, get $50 in Pick Six credits. I'm going to pump out the visual here. Again, the Flashpicks team is making this whole thing look better starting on Monday or next Thursday, I believe. So we have this here. You see my door. Play $5, get $50 instantly, and 1 month on them as well. New players, have a field day. Thank you for the sponsor. It's a new DFS site. They're getting in the DFS game, or they got in the game. If you want new promos, go there and have some fun. Hey, what's up, big guy? But that being said, let's dive in. Now, we can go game by game. We could talk whatever you guys want to talk about. I will say I did post a kicker parlay in the Dub Club that I will share here for my kicker prop people if you guys want. But we're going to start game by game. 1 o'clock game. There is the Broncos versus the Bucks. I'm going to type it in right here. I probably should have done that beforehand. Broncos versus the Bucks. It opened at 3.5. It is now -6 for Tampa Bay, who's looked very good, especially after last week. They didn't really dominate the Lions. They honestly probably should have lost to the Lions. But they didn't allow any red zone they didn't allow many red zone opportunities there, and they somehow found a way to win the game. Baker Mayfield looks fantastic. This Broncos defense is not very good. Mike Evans probably is going to be shadowed very well. Chris Godwin could be in for another good game. And honestly, they should run the ball all over the Broncos defense. And I don't see Bo Nix doing much of anything. He's looked decent, I guess, his first 2 starts, but nothing's really impressed me. So I'm definitely leaning the Buccaneers there. The more points this game goes up, though, obviously you start to think the other way. As far as the total goes, it's a low total for a Bucs game, pretty spot on for a Broncos game. I would probably lean the over, just considering how good the Bucs offense can be. And playing in Tampa, you never know. It's a very low total for a Bucs game, in my opinion. But Bucs -6, probably where I lean, especially at home. But I don't know if you missed the bus or not by not getting the 3.5 or the 4. Another big game is the Chargers and the Steelers. I mean, the Steelers are 2-0 at the top of the AFC North, which is super weird to me. Obviously, no one expected the Ravens to start 0-2 or the Bengals to start 0-2. But here we are. Steelers at top of the division. The Browns are 1-1. The Browns look pretty bad too, not going to lie. But the Browns also get the Giants. So the Browns probably get a free W. And the Ravens need to beat the Cowboys. And the Bengals get a good matchup in the Commanders, which they should be able to shred with T. Higgins back. But the Steelers 2-0 facing the Jim Harbaugh Chargers. And the Chargers are 2-0 too, tied with the Chiefs atop of the AFC West. And this game is about, I think it's close to a pick 'em. It was -3, -2.5, -2. People are high on the Chargers. Now, do we think the Chargers are good, or do the Chargers just have an easy schedule? Because to me, beating the Panthers and the Raiders are not really big accomplishments, but they did so in convincing fashion. I mean, they beat the Raiders 22-10, and they beat the Panthers 26-3. They have not allowed more than 10 points. I don't think they've allowed a red zone touchdown yet this season. They have not. The only team to not allow a red zone touchdown that probably ends here. Yeah, easy schedule so far. I agree. I don't know what the prices are now for that division because the Chiefs are still 2-0. But if you want to start fading the Chargers win total from here, you probably can. This game, did they actually? They called for TJ Watt. Honestly, I think the Steelers take this game. I think Mike Tomlin at home, I'm probably going to take the money line is even at like minus 135. Total at 34.5 is extremely low, but it's going to be probably a pretty run heavy game. Justin Herbert, he's going to play, right? I know he was questionable. I'm not sure what his stat. I'm pretty sure he's going to play. I honestly didn't even check. I'm looking it up right here. He's technically questionable after pregame warmups. It could be a move. I wouldn't put it past Harbaugh to know he's not playing and just throw him in the mix anyway for like a fake, just have them game plan for Herbert and just throw it in the mix. I saw them do it in college, not him, but I saw them do it in college, and I wouldn't put it past him. He's known to do some sketchy stuff, guys. Yeah, he could maybe sit out sometimes too, and we'll go from there, but we shall see. If he doesn't play, I kind of like Dobbins in the receiving department, but we'll see. I think the Steelers take the game. I'm not gonna lie. With Jalen Warren being fully healthy too, it's another weapon that they have. If I had to pick a spot, I'm probably taking the Steelers, and I think I see -2 on DraftKings. I'd probably take that. 2.5 is kind of the same thing, but if you have the 2 at -112, I like the Steelers at -2. Maybe we could do a for this. Remember, ask any questions about props or money lines totals. I may do a money line. I think FanDuel has a boost for 100% boost for money lines here. Yeah, 100% profit boost on Sunday money line bets. So I can go through here and I could say I'm putting the Steelers on there. I'm probably gonna add the Bucks as well, as dangerous as that is. A heavy favorite. You guys tell me Panthers are the best odds on the market right now at FanDuel. I don't want to bet the Panthers, man. I don't. I don't at all. Um, but we could do a money line parlay, and they give you a boost in your winnings. We don't need to pick a dog. We could pick a dog if we want to, but with the boost, you can kind of get a little more flexible. Um, and then the Eagles Saints. This is a very interesting game. If it was AJ Brown fully healthy, I'd probably say the Eagles take this on the road in New Orleans at 2.5. If you can get a +3, that'd be pretty ideal. But I see it's 2.5 basically everywhere. Honestly, I still think the Eagles win this game. I thought last week. I mean, they're a Saquon and Barkley catch away from. They're a Saquon Barkley catch away from being 2-0. And then are we talking about them differently? Their defense very questionable, but the Saints offense is putting unreal numbers up. And I just think the clock has to strike midnight at some point. Now, again, it could be not this week. It could be next week versus the Falcons divisional on the road. But the Eagles looked very good in the run game. Jalen Hurts looked fantastic last week. You cannot tell me otherwise. Saints +3, now they're -3. Yeah, I think without AJ Brown, that's probably where the line should be. I don't think AJ Brown's worth 3 points, but with this Eagles offense, I thought they were fine. I think the Saints offense is going to take a little bit of a hit, but that's just me. I don't know if I want to touch that game. Honestly, if I had to take the game though, and I had to bet aside, I'd probably take the Eagles at plus money, even though the line shifted that way, the other way. I'd probably bet the over because I think the Saints still do score. I'm not saying they score at an unreal number, but I think they do score. I think the Eagles score as well. I'd probably take the over. I'd probably take the Eagles at plus money. I'm not gonna lie. but we could also avoid that game as a whole. I mean, we don't need to bet that game at all. So I say why not just avoid it? I want to maybe do I think you have to do 4 legs. I'm not really sure if there's a minimum, but I'm assuming they usually do like 4 legs for this. So let's see. Let me post it here. We have Bucks money line, Steelers money line parlay. This is what we got so far. We're gonna add more. So if you're just reading this, don't do that. Even though you can't hear me, don't do that yet. We're gonna add more. I'm logging into my FanDuel on my phone and seeing if we can get this boost ready and see what the odds are. What odds should we aim for? Like a plus 1,000? Maybe we do that. Yeah, we could do. We're at plus 130 right now. I'm not touching any of these. We could add the Browns, honestly, if they're still in the 200s. Yeah, I'm adding the Browns for now. I may take them out. And then this game right here, what do we got? Cardinals money line against the Lions. That's a bold take. That is a bold take. The Lions looked they are legit. I think the Lions, I mean, I think the Cardinals are legit. I think the Lions are legit. I think the Lions should have beat the Bucks last week. And if they did beat the Bucks, I think we're having another different story too. I mean, the yards in that game were just absolutely ridiculous. One game that we should talk about here is the Ravens versus the Cowboys. And the Ravens need this game more than the Cowboys do. Obviously, they're 0-2. Cowboys are 1-1. But the Ravens looked horrible last week. They looked good against the Chiefs. They looked solid, but against the Raiders, they just fell apart. I don't get it. The Cowboys are home. This feels a tough game to call. I'm probably not going to bet it. I think I lean the Cowboys, but I think the Ravens can pull it off. There's a lot of money coming on the Ravens. A lot of money. That could just be because they're 0-2. I think it's more of a must-win for the Ravens than the Cowboys, just because the Eagles lost last week. If the Eagles had won and they were 2-0, it would probably be a must-win. But the Eagles losing, I think it allowed the Cowboys to get a little bit more of some leeway going there. We have to take a light money line though. Like Dolphins, Seahawks, Bears, Colts, Packers, Titans. I'm not going to lie. I think the Packers beat the Titans. At plus money, this team is just better. I just really do. They beat the Colts without Jordan Love. Titans have a good defense. They're not going to allow a lot of touchdowns, but I know they probably should have beat the Bears as well. But I think the Packers at plus money makes sense. I'm going to put them in. We're going to add it here. Until the Titans can show me they could pull something, until Will Levis can lead a drive and win a game, I'm staying away. That puts us at plus 450 as well. I'm seeing what the let's see here. I'm trying to see what our minimum legs are, but I cannot find it. Do we know what the minimum legs are here? Maybe you can't have like a minus 200 in here. I'm not seeing it anymore on my. Maybe I don't have it on FanDuel because that was before I logged in. Do you guys have the 100% boost? Let me see if I pick some dogs. Will it come up? I'm having some trouble here. Not gonna lie. We may need one more. I might have to lean the Colts over the Bears. Oh, it's straight bet only? I thought it was a parlay boost. Hmm. So you could take okay, so you could take a favorite basically and turn them into a dog. Gotcha. I think if you had to pick a team to make that happen to, let me just take these off. Okay, yeah, after one. Panthers, I don't know. I see your reasoning there. This is not a bad strategy just to make their odds ridiculously higher. Um, but you could turn like you got to make it plus money. You just have to. I wonder if you do the like what does the Browns get you? Minus 140. So you can get the Browns at minus 145. You can get the Bucks at what, like minus 130, minus 137. Honestly, this is a tough. If what you really should do is you should bet the Cardinals at DraftKings and then just bet the Lions and bet the same number and just make a few bucks. That's really probably what you should do. Or you can get the Chiefs tonight at plus 117. Anytime you get the Chiefs at plus money on prime time, even though the Falcons are good, I do. I think you should hike the Packers lineup. That's probably a good idea. Yeah, the plus 268. This is a good idea. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Undies, great job. Undies is yeah. Make the Packers plus 268. Make the Packers plus 268. That's what you should do. That is my advice there. And we don't have to do a money line parlay for that means in general. We could do a fun touchdown parlay and go from there. But there's a lot of interesting games. I'm not gonna lie. This is a tough week as far as like where the lines are. I think the lines are pretty sharp. I mean, they usually are, but the Browns minus 6.5 seems very trappy. You know, I think they do run over. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Um, yeah, I think the Packers money line is the way to go. And we have some fun games. I mean, the 49ers at minus 6.5 against the Rams. I know there's a lot of talent gone on both sides. With no Kittle, no Debo, and no McCaffrey, it's just going to be a game one in the trenches. And I think the Rams at plus 6.5 at that way that moved is just ridiculous. I know there's no Cup, I know there's no Puka, but both sides are without their army. And for me, I don't know. That seems like a big hike there. That's all I'm gonna say. That is all I'm gonna say. He said Ravens for me. Okay, yeah, you could bet the Ravens for sure. I'm gonna see here. I think we should do a touchdown scorer parlay. I don't want you guys to build it. We'll do 3-leg touchdown scorer parlay. I want you guys to input some here. We can't do just like a bunch of Kamaras though, because it's like minus 220. Jerome Ford or Deonta Foreman? You like Jerome Ford? I feel like Deonta Foreman is sneaky. Bowers, Kelsey, Chase. Chase is on Monday though. Dobbins is a solid one. I like Dobbins at plus money. You know what? I'll go Ford with you. JT's probably solid too. You know what? Let's go Godwin. Let's go Godwin. This is what it is. Dobbins, Ford, Godwin, plus 1220, FanDuel. That's a beauty. That is a beauty. Absolute beauty right there. Mhm. That's what we're doing. I like it. All right, guys. We will have a show tomorrow with a guest. We'll cook up an SGP there as well. A great guest tomorrow. And we will have structure starting next week. We have the dev team making good stuff rolling. We have recurring guests on Thursdays and Mondays, same guests, Thursdays, Mondays, and we'll have a new guest every Sunday starting next week. So stay tuned for this. Make sure to subscribe to the Flashpicks YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Best of luck in your bets tonight. Peace out.